welcome back to the rabbit's chair. So last week we managed to get the hay in and we had a little look at the van, so the new horse box with its cameras, and we started to set off on a journey. So this week we're going to do that journey. We're going to go and bring Poppy back from the stallion. And beyond that, I don't really know what's going to happen this week. We've got quite a bit of things to do. So we need to go and take one of the other horses to a different stallion. So that's probably going to be this week. And we also need to go to the boat. So yeah, it's going to be another busy week. Not sure how it's going to pan out, but let's go. Let's see what happens. Okay, time to go pick Poppy up. This time, straight from the gate in our own van with a little bit of a rattle. So first fuel and then we'll go.
So we're on the road. The lorry seems to be working okay. No big problem. We found out that it takes longer than we thought in the lorry, and the sat nav on my phone appears to be taking longer, so we feel like we're going backwards in time.
Well, we're nearly there, so we'll catch up with Poppy in a bit. Right, Ed's been aiming to get down to the boat for ages to get some work done on it. So let's go see him. Let's go see how he's getting on with the boat.
We're at the boat. We have managed to get some time to start, and we're starting off by taking this bed out. So first things first, get rid of this old bed. It's not built properly or how we need it to be. It wasn't really a bed. I mean, you can see how wobbly it is. Got all this wood to use. We're taking it off the walls because it was just trapping damp, as you can see there, and it just didn't look as nice because it ended up collecting a lot of grime on the walls. But this marine ply is a lot better. I mean, you can see just underneath that window where there's been damp trapped, and you can't see it behind the wood that was stuck to the wall. So it originally looked like this, which was really nice and we really liked it, but then we saw some old photos of this wood here, and this is actually marine grade ply, but because it was behind this other wood, which you can see has got a little bit dirty, it's got quite dirty and it needed a lot of sanding and a lot of cleaning up, and it's not very well cut in the corners and places like there, so it was looking a bit of a mess. So we've taken all that off and we're gonna reuse it and recycle it on places like that box there and other boxes that we've got that my granddad built us. Out is it's actually really well built underneath all the wood that was like nailed to it, and if you look, it's got little eyes, it's got little cute eyes, and it tapers in really nicely. But we're off to get a screwdriver. The back needs sorting out at some point. Engine's got a bit of work to be done on it, which we're just getting the numbers for today off the engine to get the parts. Go, door's locked. But this is affelgwellt, and it's slowly going to get done up. I've got a lot of other things I'm doing at the same time. But yeah, one day it will all be done. It needs a finishing off of a paint job, Need some welding and blacking. And we'll build some benches here, probably out of that recycled wood, so you can sit out on the front and not have this coal in the way. So yeah, it'll be nice. It's nice anyway, but it'll be really nice when it's all finished. But we're going to nip out and get some screwdrivers, and we'll be back in a bit.
Well, it's looking a bit of a mess, but it is getting there. So yeah, while he goes to get a screwdriver, let's catch up with Poppy. Let's see her coming back. And that's it. Very noisy Poppy. Very noisy Poppy. Loaded up. So it's time to get on the road, I think. And that's it. We're back. And she's quite happy. She's quite enjoying that. So, time to unload.
She's a bit warm. Good girl.
Here she comes. There's a man.
Inca doesn't miss much, does she?
No. Holly's not quite. Now she's realised.
I've got to get in there.
And that's it. She's back in the field with her mum and the rest of the gang. So, let's go see if Ed got his screwdriver and see what's happening down at the boat now.
So, on our way back from getting the screwdrivers, we found a doe and its little baby. I can't remember what they are. Fawns. There's the one, fawn. We found a doe and a fawn. And I'm quite happy we found it here because a lot of the time they end up running into the canal. And there's been stories told by the other boaters of dragging them out, trying to save them. But hopefully she disappears off that way now, which does look like she's doing. So yeah. Okay, so we've pulled off all the back, trying to find the engine number. We think we found it down there somewhere. But we've got a big battery, which we're going to get rid of, I think, because it's too big and it just doesn't work for the boat. And put 2 little ones there where they're supposed to be. Going to clean up the back, do another paint. Surprisingly, this is clean and tidy, considering it was, like you can see, like that when I bought it, and I had to spend about 2-3 weeks cleaning it and then painting it. It took me a very long time during the first half of lockdown. That's how it looks now, but it's coming through again and probably could do with a little bit more of a paint at some point, and underneath that battery I couldn't do it, so that definitely needs a paint. But this is too big. We might go for a smaller one if we can find one, and there's a possibility that in the future we might actually run a radiator in, because this boat is supposed to have a radiator heated from the engine, so we might run a radiator in here which heats up from the engine and then goes around and cools down and goes back in the engine. But so what it'll do is it'll come through here, heat up this tank, small one, come through here, heat up a radiator possibly in here, and then come back through into the engine, back through into this, I can't remember what they're called, they're like sill tanks. So you see this weld here. This is a tank, and that's where the water comes in, and that's where the water comes out down there. So that's where the water comes out and back into the engine. But what this does is it basically just cools the water off, like, drastically. So it's a big water tank that just has free flowing water past it, and it cools it as it drives, which is really good and really kind of ingenious technology. He's just stripping the bed, the rest of the stuff down to be able to get this stuff out the way so we can actually get in here, and we're going to stack the wood here for now. Okay, so what we're doing now is just taking all the nails out of all this wood to be able to pack it into the car and probably bring it back another day to use on the boat somewhere else, or use at the farm somewhere. But we have kind of good and bad things with these. We have lucky where we get one like this, or 2 maybe, in the back of it. 2 on this case, but sometimes on the really long ones there's just 1 in it, in nails wise. Or you get something like this, which is, I don't even know, like, varies between 10 and 20, doesn't it?
You don't know what.
But there's this many on this side, but then you go down to this side and there's 1, and then there's 2 there. But look, oh yeah, you've got a really long one with 1 there and 1 there. But there's a good, I'd say we've been through about 7 of these already, at least, wouldn't you?
Yeah. All of a sudden you get one that's red nails.
It's just, yeah, it does seem to have.
There's a whole family of them on there.
And then when taking up the floor, well, not the floor, taking up the panel across the floor, like that beam there, we find screws like this, which on a boat, it's a bit long, especially when the boat is only really, well, you can't really see it, the boat's only really about that thick, and we measured it, and these nails only just miss, well, these screws only just miss the hull. We've not checked at the bottom yet, so we might sink. We might sink. But at least there's no holes in the walls yet, because there's no water on it. And we're not in the water. But I think we're extremely lucky that that doesn't go outside the hull.
Just snap that one instead. We could actually got a saw, haven't you? now you come to think of it.
After all that, we've got a saw. Could have just cut the middle out. Then it could have just stayed.
Just cut the ends on. Cut the ends off.
Which ends?
Either side. And then knock the ends off.
True. snapped it in half anyway.
It's not going to be much use for the bed, is it?
No.
Although, no.
Next.
Well, it looks like it's starting to escalate down there, and soon there'll be nothing left inside that boat, but it's needing doing. Okay, so last week we had a look at Cookie Tongue under the barn, and on the same weekend we had some performances. So we'll have a quick look at Rosie and Sarah performing their night's battle after Cookie Tongue had played. So yeah, let's go and have a look what they were doing.
Come on, Green.
Come on, I think we need more encouragement or we might be here all weekend.
A killing blow!
Yes!
Hey!
Huzzah!
Huzzah!
Thank you very much. So that was good. That was quite an entertaining performance we had a few years ago, and yeah, there's still parts of that they're developing and that we're going to be doing again in the future. Right, let's go back to the boat and see what's happened by the end of that long day.
Okay. So, been a long day. We've got everything back to being on. Still got to put the cover that covers it temporarily on. But let's have a look inside. So, still got all this wood here. Still haven't managed to touch the shower, which I kind of desperately want to do at some point. But we have light. Well, we had lights already, but we have lights, which is nice. It's good that the wiring works on the boat at least. But now this feels much more kind of open. We've still got that bottom bit in. Couldn't get that out yet. Or, well, we can, but we're just knackered, so it's mostly out. So it's mostly out, but we're very tired. It's been a long day, hasn't it?
Tired now.
Tired now.
Tired.
So I think it's about time we stop. But we've taken all the nails out of the wood. It's all ready to be used or put away. I think it's time to shut the door. The door doesn't want to be shut. Come on. There we go. It just takes a little bit of persuasion, this door. Bye-bye, world.
Well, that's it at the boat for now, and that's it for this week. So it's been a weird one this week. A lot of travelling about and a lot of dealing with things that take a long time. So yeah, we've brought Poppy back and we've started to strip out the boat. And it was nice to have a look back and see a bit of Sarah and Rosie's performance. Next week, we've got a lot more travelling to do again with one of the other horses to the stallion. And we'll catch up on Ed with the development of his boat. And hopefully we'll get some chance to work down here in the carousel and start to clear up again, because the nettles are starting to grow. So, yeah. Join us next week from the rabbit's chair.
So, it's time to take Inca to the stallion. All exciting, and she seems very calm in the box. She's kind of fixated ahead of her at the moment, but a minute ago she just sat munching away.